Well, looking around our mudroom, I realized that we had collected almost a skate guard graveyard. So we have a whole bunch of different ways of protecting these blades on the hockey skates that we use for the kids. So figured I would go through some of them. There's basically your standard one, which is a terry cloth elastic top piece that goes on. These ones are actually probably the easiest and the cheapest ones you can get. They come in various colors, kids like them. They have a good drying factor, so they actually will dry any snow or water that's left on the blade, so you don't have to worry about the blade rusting when they're in there. I would say though that they probably have one of the shortest lifespans. We've only have one of these left, but you can actually see that they start to get cut because they have a just cloth material on the side. So any amount of walking from the kids on there, but they do stay on very well. They don't usually come off. It's a pretty high strength elastic. You can find them most places. As I say, they're probably the most inexpensive of the type for sure. So the next ones are variations of these themes. So there's more of a cloth version that has a terry cloth inside. Again, very good for drying the blades, but you can see the blade, just the edges of the blade just will rip through the bottom of the skate guard. So I actually suggest if you get a hole-in-one, you don't throw it away because throw the other one away, sorry, because you can probably use it with a different mismatch, because that's usually the way it works for whatever reason, is one goes before the other one. So again, that cloth version works well. The next ones that are probably a little more expensive, they're usually a terry cloth inside, they're a durable outside layer, and then they have a reinforced bottom. And it's the same idea, and they have a little less elasticity, I find sometimes, so these ones can fall off sometimes, so that's something to make sure you check if you can, just make sure that the elastic is pretty strong for this. And ideally, that if they're put on properly, that reinforced layer is actually underneath the blade. But even these ones fall victim to, if they're not put on properly, you can see that they actually split at the reinforcement layer between the two there. So it's another thing to consider on there, but if you're looking for a set that's going to last a little longer, then these are the ones that I would recommend. I have two kids in hockey, so we probably go through a pair of skate guards each kid a year, so it's really not a bad idea if you can find a good one that doesn't cut through, that has a bit more durability to it. It's a pretty good one of those. The other thing that's nice about these is these fit in most of the side pockets in the skate bag, in the bags, the hockey bags, and the skate pockets. So, because the next thing you're going to do after you graduate out of these different types is you're probably going to graduate to one of the ones that are the tried and true plastic molded ones that you can adjust the size very easily on by popping this piece out and putting it back into whatever layer you're trying to do. So these ones are actually adjusted for my skates, so they're not going to fit in the kids' skates very well right now. We can adjust them really simply, but I'm not going to do that. The common, I have these, they work great. They actually hold on really well. The only problem is they're deadly if you're walking outside on ice. So this is plastic on ice, and you're on a blade there with no edges to really cut. So you can really get a good wipeout in these unless you really are careful with it. But they do last. I think this is something that will probably be the more durable and likely one to hang around. The issue is that you definitely have to cut it if you're going to try and get it into the bag where the kids' skates will rest when they get home, because you have to cut that off, otherwise this end will tear through the bag or be too big to fit in. But the biggest downside is that if you forget to take them off when you get home, is that the water that was, or the ice that was on the blade there, will actually pool in that area there, and you'll get rusting on the blade. So that's something that the cloth ones don't have an issue with, that the plastic ones do, is that if you leave them inside the thing, you'll actually get rusting on your skate blade. So, and that brings us to what I thought was going to be a very, very neat thing, which we picked up this year. It's called a Skaboot. I think there's actually a thing there. And it's a skate boot. And the idea behind this guy is that you have a large sole that you're actually fitting your skate into, like this, and then you're able to strap over it, and you have a much sturdier platform to stand on while you're actually trying to walk in the skates. So the goal for these is that it's for outdoor use, such as canal, or if you've got an outdoor rinse you're walking to down the neighborhood or whatever. The idea behind it is that the skate just stands right up, and it sits in the wider boot, which actually has a very good sole on it. So it's actually pretty good on ice, and we were really hopeful this was going to work really well. What we found is we walked through across a yard that has some deep snow in the backyard, and so once there's some snow involved in the thing, this strap is really hard for the kids to get on securely enough that the skate will actually stay in here. So, and it just pops out really easily. So because it's actually on the front loading of the skate guard strap, which is different than most of the old types, which is they've actually secured the back side of it. Oops, sorry. They've actually just secured the heel portion. You actually have that motion occurring very frequently in the Skaboot, which is that it basically, the lift here keeps having it so that this thing will just pop out. So I think if the Skaboot actually had a little piece back here that actually secured the heel, and it'd be a much better entity. But essentially, it's so frustrating for the kids because they get the Skaboots on, they get halfway across where they're going, and the thing comes off. They have to sit down in the snow out there and actually go re-secure it. So they really haven't been using the Skaboots very much anymore. It's got the same issue with its rubber plastic type material, so you can't leave the skate in there when you're done skating because it will actually rust in the side there. But it is fantastic protection, and actually it's when they're attached properly, it's actually very easy to walk in them. So I'm mixed on these. They're quite expensive for the amount of use that they actually get. I was actually hoping that these were going to be a much better acquisition for us than what they have ended up being for us. And so yeah, I guess I'm a little bit disappointed in the Skaboots. They need to attach more easily because kids have a difficult time with the Velcro, getting it over the thing, reaming on it, and tightening it properly so that it's secured on there. So you almost need a second person do it. And the second part is because it's attached on that front side there, the back, as the heel lifts, it keeps popping out of the back, and they're more at risk of losing this if they're walking across snow and such. So Skaboots are okay. For adults, they're probably fine. For kids, I don't think they were a good investment for us. So, and I guess that brings us to the kids' favorite and the last, and also the most expensive of all of them, which is these. These are the RollerGuards, and these have been excellent. These are 2 years old, I believe now. They do have a brake. We don't use the brake very much, I don't think. I think they're much more likely just to do a foot slide, stuff like that, which I was kind of worried was going to damage the wheels, but they're in perfect shape still. The wheels are really high quality. I don't know skateboarding very well, but they feel like they're very balanced, very smooth spinning, and they're a very durable plastic polymer or whatever, and the axle is also quite nice. You can pop them out quite easily to move the rear axle to whatever distance you want them to be on the RollerGuards, and our kids have been using them in many places. They use them downstairs, they use them outside. I've never seen them pop off. They're in there really securely, and that same problem I was saying with when they lift forward, that heel lift there just secures it in perfectly, and there's no real chance for it to pop out of the front unless you're really working on it. So it's a very secure aspect to it. So RollerGuards have been very good for sure. The piece that I like about this the best is it's a really heavy plastic, so it feels durable, and we've had them for 2 years plus. So as I say, it's something that has stood the test of time because our kids will use this quite frequently. The only downside I think I mentioned is that there are rinks now that are abandoning the use of these. They're considering them rollerblades or skateboards, and they're worrying about the safety of other people skating into them and such. So the municipalities have started actually banning them. Anyways, so that's kind of the review of all the different skate guards that we use, the technology we use. I would say that the three most popular ones that we have are generally the reinforced bottoms with a hard plastic side there. I would actually be quite happy if there was some made out of Kevlar or something that we ended up paying $20-25 for, because we end up buying these every year. So I'd rather have one that's just, you know, was really much more durable and stuck around. That'd be very much good, a very good thing. So these would be the top 3 that I think our kids would usually gravitate to, depending on the different usage for them. Hope you find that useful. If you do, have a like or hit a like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks very much. So the